Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuning in 10 minutes of BPTV News brought to you by Bình Phước Television Station and Newspaper. I'm the Wang and now following are the headlines of today's news. Vietnam promotes innovation for national development. Gastroduodenal endoscope device used in traditional medicine hospital. Art program celebrates Reunification Day. President meet voters in Da Nang City. National Assembly Chairman start official visit to Uruguay. Vietnam's e-commerce sector expected to grow 25% in 2023. And now our details. The Ministry of Science and Technology recently held a ceremony in response to Vietnam Innovation Day 2023 with the theme Innovation, Foundation for Development of Modern Nations.
Vietnam was placed 48th among 132 economies in the Global Innovation Index 2022. The country also ranked second out of 36 economies in the lower middle income group, with a performance above expectations for the level of development. The result is a vivid illustration of the country's potential and strengths despite the global headwinds. The Ministry of Science and Technology has worked to complete a legal framework to boost the development of science and technology and innovation. The ceremony was held with a view to raising public awareness about innovation and intellectual property in socio-economic development and sustainable development, and to honor innovation ideas from young people. It also formed part of activities marking the Vietnam Science and Technology Day on May 18th, which is designed to honor scientists as well as scientific and technological achievements and innovations.
A gastroduodenal endoscope device has been officially put to use at the Bình Phước Traditional Medicine Hospital.
With modern medical equipment purchased with provincial budget funds, doctors have offered diagnosis to 3 patients. It is expected to help local doctors provide better treatment of diseases related to the duodenum while helping patients save time and cost.
The Country in My Heart art program has been jointly held by Town Central for Culture and Sport and the Bình Phước Ethnic Music and Dance Troupe to mark the 48th anniversary of the liberation of the South and National Reunification Day on April 30.
Style performances were delivered during the program, honoring the country, the Communist Party of Vietnam, and beloved Uncle Ho. It also aimed to encourage local officials, party members, and people to promote emulation movements to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Town's establishment.
Now moving on to the top stories around the country. President Võ Văn Thưởng met voters in the central city of Da Nang on April 27th ahead of the 5th section of the 15th National Assembly.
At the meeting, voters made recommendations to several issues, including the amended law on land, support to enterprises heavily affected by COVID-19, high-tech crimes, and application of advanced technologies into agricultural production. Expressing their support to the party and state's anti-corruption work over the past time, local voters suggested competent authorities would further assess recovery rates in corruption cases so as to develop public works in areas with difficulties. President Thưởng highly valued the voters' recommendations, stressing competent authorities must work to handle land-related complaints as well as complete compensation and resettlement policies. In the time to come, the party will step up anti-corruption work, he said, adding strict punishment will be meted out to any violations with the spirit there is no restricted zones, an exception in the fight against corruption.
Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính attended the inauguration of Thái Bình 2 thermal power plant, which was held by the Vietnam National Oil and Gas Group Petro-Vietnam in northern province of Thái Bình on April 27th.
Thái Bình 2 thermal power plant has a total investment capital of over 40 trillion Vietnam dong or $1.8 billion and a combined capacity of 1,200 megawatt, which is a large-scale project in the north. Having its construction started in early 2011, the plant's 2 turbines have completed trial run and generated over 1 billion kilowatts of electricity to the national grid. Once operational, the plant will supply around 7.2 billion kilowatts to the national grid. Speaking at the event, Prime Minister Chính said energy security and electricity supply are one of the top political tasks and priorities of the Vietnamese party and state. The Petro Vietnam, the Vietnam Electricity and agencies concerned were also asked to work closely together to ensure that the plant operates safely, stably and effectively. Earlier the same day, Prime Minister Chính visited Liên Hà Thái Industrial Park, invested by Green One Park George Stock Company. Covering a total areas of nearly 600 hectares, the park has attracted electricity projects worth over $730 million, making Thái Bình one of the top 10 localities nationwide in terms of investment attraction for the first time.
National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ paying an official visit to Uruguay at the invitation of Speaker of the Senate of Uruguay, Patrick Agrimon Cedera.
National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ on April 26 local time arrived in Montevideo, starting his official visit to Uruguay at the invitation of Speaker of the Senate of Uruguay, Beatriz Agrimon Cedera. He was greeted at the airport by high-ranking officials of the host country and Vietnamese ambassador to Argentina and Uruguay, Dương Quốc Thanh. The visit is affirming the message that Vietnam attaches importance to the fine relations and wish to push up economic, trade, and mutually beneficial cooperation with Latin American countries, including Uruguay. Huệ is scheduled to hold talks and meet with high-ranking leaders of Uruguay, sign a cooperation agreement between the two law-making bodies, and attend a number of activities marking the 30th anniversary of the diplomatic ties between the two countries. Vietnam and Uruguay established diplomatic relations on August 11, 1993. The bilateral relations of friendship and solidarity are manifested through the mutual support in the past national liberation and the current national development.
According to the Vietnam E-commerce Association, e-commerce will remain the fastest growing and most stable economic sector in Vietnam this year, despite local and global economic challenges.
The comp has predicted that e-commerce in the country will grow at a rate of more than 25% this year, reaching over $20 billion in economic scale. Analysts believe that, although e-commerce in Vietnam has grown rapidly, it is still only in the early stages of development, and Vietnam needs to further promote the implementation of business activities on e-commerce platforms. Retail e-commerce transactions represented about 8.5% of total retail sales of consumer goods and services, which stood at some $240 billion last year. In China, meanwhile, e-commerce accounts for 27.2% of total retail sales of goods and services. It has been forecast that business activities on e-commerce platforms will continue to grow and be stable in the years to come, though the economy will be affected by local and global economic difficulties.
That is all for today on the news of Bình Phước Radio television station and newspaper. Once again, thanks for your watching and goodbye for now.